Okay, so now you're officially part of Roc-A-Fella. And was it through state property, Roc-A-Fella?
Yeah, through state property, Black Friday, Roc-A-Fella,
All that.
Yeah, a couple different channels.
Okay. I mean, at the height of Roc-A-Fella, when you guys were on fire, I mean, the biggest, most important crew in hip hop, everything you dropped was a big deal.
Yeah.
Like, what was your greatest memory of all that?
Oh man, just my debut album, Philadelphia Freeway. Like, I remember when the week that it was getting ready to come out, I was like, right, back then you really had to get in the van and go from city to city to promote your project. They say it takes your whole life to make your first album, so I put my all into it. I wasn't sure how the world was going to take it, we had 50 doing this thing, blowing up, like, and me and Fifth was always tight. Like, I remember, I think we had a show like a week before my album came out together, and his shit was already out. And I'm like, damn, man, hope my shit do good as your shit was doing. He's like, man, your shit gonna do good, nigga. You with Jay, like, don't worry about it. So it was all love, though. It's a classic album, so definitely a blessing.
Okay. Now there's kind of an interesting story behind the What We Do song coming together.
Yeah.
Because originally it was supposed to be just your song.
Yeah.
Okay, so describe the process of how everyone else ended up getting on it.
So we was in the studio. I was in the A room recording with Guru. Jay was in the front room playing pool. So when I laid my verse, I originally called Jay in the studio to hear it, and I wanted him to do the keep goings. Because that's something I picked up from Jay. He would like always add like a extra little voice on a record or something just to bring it out and make it better. So I'm like, damn, it should be crazy if I can get Jay to just say to keep going, keep flowing. So he's like, all right, I got you. So when I played the song for him, he was like, yo, this shit crazy. So we sat down on the table and bass line for like 5-10 minutes, like this. Then it's like, I got you. Then he went to the booth. Oh, never slacking, man, zipping in the black, range faster than, I'm like, oh my God, this shit about to be crazy. So then he's like, I'm gonna come back and finish it. Like, he's like, cause I gave him a lot of bars on that joint, so he's like, I'm gonna finish it for you. I got something to do, I'll be back. So he rolled out, and then Beans wound up coming to the studio a little later on. I was like, yo, I just did this drink with Jay, this shit crazy, let me let you hear it. So I let him hear it. Beans was like, yo, Jay ain't finishing that, I'm jumping on that joint. Then he did his verse, the rest is history. And it was actually when I wanted to drop that joint for a single, a lot of people was against it because it didn't have the normal format of a radio record, But, we proved them wrong.
So Jay didn't finish his verse, so did they chop off some of his verses?
No, he laid what he had, he laid what he had, and he was gonna finish it. Like, he was gonna make up some more and finish it, because I had a lot of bars versus the verse that he had, So he's like, I'm gonna finish it for you. And Beans wound up coming to the studio and jumping on it instead.
Okay, so when Jay heard the final product, what did he say?
He loved it.
Okay, so he wasn't even tripping.
No, he wasn't tripping at all. We back then, we was,
Yeah,
tight.
Great song. It was.
Tight.
I think that song and "Rock the Mic" were my two favorite Freeway songs.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Rock the Mic. We was in Miami recording. We originally went down there. We had studio time at Circle House. Beans and Bleak was working on the album, and then we was gonna work on a state property album together. Like, Just was down there, a couple other producers. Everybody was on Just back trying to get beats from him, and Just wasn't the Just that he is now. He was just starting like we were. So niggas, how niggas be. Niggas was like getting fly with him a little bit and all that, but I always got respect for people. So when the smoke cleared, I was like, Just, I'm trying to work. If you got a beat for me, let's get it. Then he gave me Rock the Mic. I cooked the hook up, cooked the verse up, and Beans heard it. Sparks put a verse on it too, but it wound up not making it. And Beans jumped on it. The rest is history.
Okay. Now Kanye was on Roc-A-Fella at the time.
Yeah, he was producing.
Did the two of you actually work together? You and Kanye?
Yeah, he did a couple joints on my first album on Philadelphia Freeway. And I was on his first album too, College Dropout.
Right. Did you have any idea what Kanye was going to become back then?
I knew he had talent. Like, you know what I'm saying? A lot of motherfuckers wasn't even trying to hear that shit. They just wanted, like, give me a beat. I don't care about it. So when he reached out to me and asked me to get on the album, the song was incredible. You know, I jumped on it, and the rest is history. Kanye he always was determined, you know, and he always knew what he wanted to do.
So what was it like at Roc-A-Fella when Nas dropped Ether? Like, what was the general feeling?
It just was like, we gotta get back at him. Like, you know, that was like, it wasn't like niggas was like running for shelter or nothing like that. Like, it was a good record, but we the Roc. Like, you know what I mean? We wasn't worried about that shit. Like, you know, Big Homie come back and do what he do. And then he had us. You know, we was going at everything moving. And I love Nas, yo. I remember it was the Rock Boys video. First time me and Nas really got to chop it up. After I shot my part, I had to leave because I had a show that night. So Nas was leaving out at the same time. And I'm like, damn, dog. I was like, I know I was coming at your neck and everything, but I fucking love your shit. Like, I was like, they used to call me the Philly Nas. He was like, nah, Free, I love your shit too. I listen to all your shit. I love your shit. He gave me a hug. Then he got in the wrong Maybach. He got in J Maybach. Then he got like, this ain't my Maybach. Then he jumped in his Maybach and pulled up. Yeah, but it was all love,
That's
though.
crazy.
So then, you know, you guys continuing, State Property doing his thing, Roc-A-Fella doing his thing, Jay definitely doing his thing, Dipset is doing his thing. When things started to really just fall apart, like, did you see it coming, or was it a kind of a surprise to you?
I didn't see it coming at first, because, you know, I had a lot going on myself, you know, but when it came down to it, I knew what it was. You know, I remember I had a conversation with Jay, and he was telling me, like, things is going to change, like, you know, but you going to be good, but it's going to be some changes. And I was like, cool, that's what it is.
Okay. I mean, and after Roc-A-Fella broke up, Dame Dash had, like, Dame Dash Music Group.
Yeah.
Jay went to Def Jam.
Yeah.
Became president of Def Jam. Where'd you end up going right after that?
Well, when like Roc-A-Fella broke up and we got a call. I remember we was all in the studio in Philly, and Lenny S had to get a call. He was like, "It's over. Like, you know, y'all got dropped, basically. You know." So after that, it took me like probably a couple weeks to like get my bearings and get myself back together, because, you know, what we was doing, you would think that it would never end. Like, you know, you would think it would last forever, especially being a kid off the streets, you know. So what I did was go back to what got me there in the first place, and that's hard work. Started doing a couple independent projects. 2010, I did a deal with Rhyme Sayers, and I dropped a critically acclaimed album, Stimulus Package with Jake One. Dropped 2 or 3 more independent albums after that, mixtapes, Month of Madness. Just going hard, trying to stay relevant, and alhamdulillah, it's really been good for me. You know, things really never really slowed down for me. I've always been on the road, performing, you know, leading up to the new situation we got now.
I mean, when you look at some of the other State Property members, when you look at, like, for example, Beanie Sigel, you look at PD, at one point they started going against Jay and accusing him of this, that, and the third. And I remember Jay's response was something to the effect of, I gave everyone a chance. I put everyone in position. And what they did with that is really up to them. So even if I don't do anything moving forward, I've already done enough.
Most definitely. That's how I looked at it. Like, when Roc broke up, I was already Freeway. You know, I was already a household name. I already had hit records. You know, so I took what I had and went as hard as I can with it. You know, it don't make no sense for me to sit around and complain or blame somebody for my misfortunes. I just had to go hard. You know.
Yeah, I mean, when you saw your other State Property members going against Jay, which you never did, like, how did that make you feel?
I mean, you know, as far as Beans in the situation with him and Jay, Beans knew Jay before me. Like, he had a different relationship with Jay. So whatever they was going through, I was looking at it like it's between them. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he probably felt stronger about it because they were closer than we was, you know? So I never really had too much to say about it, you know? But, you know, at the end of the day, I was still tight with everybody, you know, so.
Yeah, well, I mean, I remember at one point there was an old, I think maybe a XXL interview with Jay where he said that Beanie Sigel is going to be the next Tupac in terms of his impact.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And like at the time, I felt it. Like, you know, in terms of like,
You know, Beans is a phenomenal artist, most definitely,
Yeah.
and he definitely had a huge impact in the music game. Period. You know, they love us everywhere we go, East Coast, West Coast, everywhere. A lot of love for Beans.
yeah, I feel like if Beans didn't get caught up in some of the bullshit he got caught up in and really focused on what he did best, I think he would be named up there with Tupac and Jay and so forth. Not to say that he's not a great artist, it's just that I felt like he lost his focus to a certain degree.
I mean, you know, he had a couple situations with the law, you know, and that stuff would definitely sidetrack you. You know, you're away from your family and away from the business for a year or two. You gotta, once you get back in, you know, it's like difficult to get back to where you was at, you know.